for the second output of this week's Preppin data, we're going to be starting from a point that we built in our workflow for the first output. So we're going to be starting from here, where we group together in order to remove that duplicate row for Timmy. So if we add on an extra little clean step there, we're first of all going to deal with all of the shows that people are watching, and then we're going to think about all the ratings. So we're just going to go through and get rid of some extra columns that we're not going to be using during this part of the workflow, just so that it's useful. And we don't care about the devices that people have been using either. So we just care about these two columns basically. It would have definitely been easier to highlight them both and say keep only, but you live and learn. So we've got our concatenated list of shows here. So let's split those up using a custom split and on the comma and take all of those. So we'll do that. We'll get rid of that initial field and we'll do some pivoting much like before. So we're going to use the wildcard search. We've split on those fields, so we're just going to search for the split, and that's great. We're going to get rid of all these empty rows because we don't care about those, because that's just where people have watched a different number of shows. And we don't care about this field either because that is just telling us what split number it is, and that's not really useful information. So we can see in this list some of them are related to the question, the shows that were provided in the survey, but then there's also ones that people were allowed to free type into other. So how can we sort out those other shows and make sure that they are valid shows for people to potentially watch? That's where our other input of Netflix shows comes in. We've got a list of all the content on Netflix. So the only issue here is that we've got the year in there as well, which will make it difficult to join. So we're going to use that trusty split again and split on the opening bracket, and we only actually care about the first thing, so anything before that opening bracket, because that is our show title. So we'll just do that split, and that's really useful. We'll get rid of this original one, call this one just shows, and then that's great. We will be joining that to our pivot here, and we're going to join that on the what have you been binging shows, and we can see that that's all working nicely for us. So now if we're dealing with the ratings, we're just going to go back to this aggregate again, create another clean step, and in the opposite way we're just going to get rid of the devices and the show names because we don't need those. But again, we're going to be pivoting. It's a very pivoty challenge, this one. When we're wildcard searching, we're going to search for the word how, and we only want fields that start with the word how. So that's great. Now for my favorite bit of the whole challenge. If we're trying to clean up this field here to only have the show name, because they all have how would you rate, we just want to get rid of that, the how would you rate words. So if we do an automatic split here, then watch the magic, we just get our show names back. And that is so cool in my mind. So I'll remove this field here and rename this one as rating. Get rid of these nulls because that's just where people have chosen not to answer that rating question because maybe they haven't seen the show. Cool. And rename this as shows as well. Cool. Now we're ready to be able to join these two streams together. Now clearly we're going to have some nice joins here for all of these titles because they're named exactly the same things in the survey as in the survey kind of questions. No one's free typed any of it basically, whereas the other is going to be difficult to join because nobody's going to have written their show name as other. So if we just join these together, then we'll first of all deal with those that are going to join nice and easy. So we'll join those together on the name and on the shows. Oh, maybe not on the show actually. We'll join it, this one on the shows. Oh, this one on the what have you been binging, that's what I mean, because that's where it's written the same in the same survey basically, and we'll join it on the show. There you go. So we've got most of those joining together. We've only got 8 records that aren't coming through. So we can see from this list that that is all the sort of shows that would be other. So basically we want to be able to return these as a separate list to join on to our other ratings. So if we join this back onto itself, then we can just do a join like this instead. And then you can see that we've got our 8 rows, and that's exactly what we want. So if we then just do a little bit of tidying up, we don't want all these ones that are just nulls, so we'll just go ahead and remove those fields. And then we've just got our shows that we're interested in. Oh, we can get rid of these extra what is your name fields as well, because they're not too useful to us. So if I just add a clean step after that, okay, that didn't get rid of those extra fields. I'll just get rid of that now. Okay, Tableau Prep. It's having a bit of a freak out there. Let's just get rid of that. Move that up there, and then hopefully it'll do what we want it to. No. Okay, well that's fine. It doesn't matter anyway. So now what we want to be able to do is with those other shows, if we add another step, we just want to filter to keep only those, so that we've only got those ratings back, which is great, but we've still got the names associated with them, all the people that filled out the other shows that they've been watching. So we can then join these up to our others. Come on, there you go. And we can join those on the name, which it's automatically suggesting, which is great. And then we can see that we've got our shows next to our ratings, and that's actually wonderful. So let's try again and get rid of this pesky field here. Lovely. We can get rid of another of the what's your name fields because we've got quite a lot of duplicates of those. There we go. And that is great. So now we just want to union together with this join here, which had all of our information about the shows that we were asking specifically about with the ratings. So if we union those together, we can see that we've only got one that's mismatched, which is what's your name, but that's fine. We can just get rid of that. So let's just add another step, get rid of the table names because that's not important to us. Get rid of this show here because that has the others where we don't want it to be. Get rid of this what's your name thing. And then we're getting a much cleaner data set back again. Wonderful. Now the only difference here is that we've got the stranger in capital letters and the stranger in non-capital letters. So let's just get rid of the one with the capital letters because that's not particularly good. And now we're ready to group by and aggregate up. So let's do an aggregate here where we're going to group on the what shows have you been watching, and we're going to do an average of the rating. Lovely. And then all that's left to do is do our ranking. So let's add in another clean step. And on our rating, we're going to go down to create calculated fields, and we're going to do a rank here. And so we're ranking, we're grouping by the show. No, we're not grouping by the show. That would be ridiculous. Whoops. Let's just get rid of that. We're just wanting to rank on this field here. And there we go. We're doing a dense rank though, so that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just so that you have an ordered list of what shows you should be watching. So we just rename that field, and then we can see what we've got here. So hopefully that was clear, and thanks for watching.